This time of year, the school calendar really starts to fill up. Spring activities, testing season, and that final push toward the end of the year. It's a great moment for kids to stay focused and build confidence in what they're learning. That's where IXL comes in. IXL is an award-winning online learning platform that helps kids truly understand their schoolwork, from math and reading to writing and science. It's designed for pre-K through 12th grade, with personalized interactive content that adapts to each child's level and pace. IXL makes it easy to stay on track with instant feedback and clear explanations, skills organized by grade level, and simple progress tracking. It fits into even the busiest spring schedules. It's also trusted nationwide. In fact, IXL is used in 96 of the top 100 school districts in the U.S. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. Listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price.
There's something about spring that just feels like a reset. Longer days, fresh energy, and the motivation to try something new. This spring, that something new could be learning a new language. That's where Rosetta Stone comes in. They've been a leader in language learning for over 30 years, with an immersive method that helps you learn naturally, connecting words, visuals, and meaning in context instead of memorizing or translating. With over 25 languages to choose from, like Spanish, French, German, even Japanese, Rosetta Stone is a go-to tool for real language learning. It's designed to help you think in your new language so what you learn actually sticks. Plus, True Accent gives real-time feedback on your pronunciation so you sound more natural, like having a personal coach. And you can learn anytime, anywhere, whether you've got 5 minutes or a full hour. Ready to start learning a new language this spring? Visit rosettastone.com/today to explore Rosetta Stone and choose the language that's right for you. Go to rosettastone.com/today now and begin your language learning journey.
Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. You probably don't even know who I am. I feel like I haven't done hardly any episodes in the last month. But
introduce yourself.
I'm still here. I'm still alive. So I'm happy to be here with you guys tonight live as we bring you another episode. Obviously, got Justin and Josh with me here. We got a fun one lined up for you tonight. Obviously, some Myles Garrett news broke just a little bit ago. We're going to cover some of that. We got a lot of voicemails to get to. So considering we're in the dead of the off season, we got some good stuff to get into. Before we do, though, remember, if you want to get voicemails on the show, head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. Just tap the I got off track. See, I'm so out of practice. I was reading and talking at the same time. See, I'm not a professional anymore. I'm going to have to go back to the minors, podcasting minors. If you want to get, or if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Now is where I mentioned tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content we're putting out. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to find I'm going to get into my next level here soon. Bear with me. You can also listen to the show on Apple and Spotify. You can find us on any of the major social media platforms. Just search at the Dogs Podcast. And lastly, if you want more dogs content, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member, get access to the private Discord, scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's a fancy graphic, Josh. I'm so out of the loop. I didn't even know we had that graphic. So look at us go. We're here in the 21st century, but it's a great time for everybody involved. You get to play fantasy football with us. We got dynasty leagues going. I see people are making moves today when I'm sitting at work. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So Josh was doing it. So if you want to hang out with Browns fans
I just took it.
Wait, did you make a move?
I did make a move.
What was the move? I missed it.
Ooh.
Traded Tyler Shuck and a third-round pick for Drake London.
Oh my God! What is it? PPR? What are we doing?
Point per pass attempt.
That's what's up, man. I would say just if that third round pick works out for him, probably
a third round pick. What the?
And Tyler Shuck, man.
I mean, Shuck might be nice, but he's
Definitely
already
set
40.
At quarterback, so I was good.
Good for
all right,
you.
well, that's the kind of thing you can get into if you join the Dogs, the Dog Pack. So that's jointhedogs.com, or just scan that fancy QR code. Come hang out with us and a bunch of other Browns fans from all over.
Yeah.
So fun, I don't know, I guess potentially depressing news, but some Browns news dropping today. Myles Garrett, and Josh, you probably have it exactly pulled up what we did, but essentially we did something to his contract, right?
Yes, we did something to his contract. It was confusing when it first kind of came out the way it was being, and I don't think whenever things like this get dropped, even, Field Yates, I don't think fully understands what's going on. So I was kind of waiting around. I saw then Jack Duffin was posting about it. And essentially what they did is Myles Garrett and the Browns had to agree on this. They can't just do this. So they agreed on revised contract terms to postpone or move the date of his option bonus, which was due to be paid out to him today.
Tomorrow. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, it was, I think 25th? It was today, the 25th.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I don't even know the date.
$29.2 million today as an option bonus, meaning, and that's like a large portion of his salary for this season. He's locked into the 2026 roster if we pay him almost $30 million in a bonus today. It's kind of the same thing if you remember Kirk Cousins. The whole thing with him and the Falcons last year, they had like a certain date. It was about this time where that roster bonus or option bonus was going to lock into place and they wouldn't really be able to trade him after that. Okay, so that was the same situation. But two sides here agreed to move that date now till the week before the season starts, so early September, which means, and according to Jack Duffin, there's no reason to do this other than maybe not necessarily preparing for a trade, but preparing for an opportunity to trade him if something comes up, if the opportunity arises. Now they have the flexibility to trade Myles Garrett up until September, whatever, something.
A lot to unpack there.
It is.
It's one of those. It just, you basically held his feet to the fire last year. You put, and forced him to sign a contract to stay with the Browns for the rest of his career, only to turn around and trade him the very next year. I don't know. I guess it's good to give yourself options. And especially, I guess the thing is, the Browns are going to suck. So, having Myles Garrett next year, if it's not like if we keep Myles, we're competing for a playoff spot. I just don't think so. I think the Browns are going to be, it's a miracle if they get to 5 wins again this year. So a good GM is going to give himself the option to be able to get a haul for Myles Garrett. We've talked about it before. Should we trade him? Shouldn't they trade him? I understand why you would entertain trading him. If you're not going to be good anyway, and there's going to be a ton of roster turnover and we're going young, you might as well trade him for 2 firsts or 3 firsts or whatever you can get for him. I mean, Mason Crosby was 2 firsts from the Ravens. Max Crosby, sorry. Yeah, that'd have been a big trade if Mason Crosby got a trade for that.
Good for him.
Yes. Max Crosby was 2 firsts from the Ravens. You got to think Myles Garrett's more than that. So if you can get a haul, I understand it. But man, this is just like, there are certain things, and I don't think you should make football moves in your organization based off PR and stuff like that for your fans. But man, don't be the guy who trades Myles Garrett. I don't want to be that GM. He's a guy you want to see retire a Brown.
Yeah. All I'll say here is it's great to be back with you guys. First off, I missed you guys a lot. I feel like there's just a lot of speculation right now. I'm hearing like a lot of rumors that maybe Myles isn't happy, and he just did an interview. I think it was with Cameron Justice, and he basically said, as long as this team's in pursuit of winning, I'm here. I'm on board. He's like, but as soon as we start talking about retool, rebuild, he's like, I'm out. He's like, the next goal on my checklist is Super Bowl MVP. The problem with the situation right now is I don't think the Browns are in a position to be in a Super Bowl window the next 2 or 3 years, at least. I mean, we're talking about we're going to have to take huge cap hits, to get out of this Watson thing. Honestly, and not to sound negative here, but I feel like the window on all of our dreams with the Myles Garrett and like those nice rosters and stuff like that, that window is closed. That window closed like a year and a half ago when pretty much we really realized Watson was not going to be it. And, now we're banking on hope. We're banking on guys developing. We're hoping that our, 5th round rookie hits so that we can actually pull ourselves out of it. But I mean, it is it feels very, very desperate just roster wise right now.
I guess are they hoping to get picks this year? Because if we're being honest, this isn't necessarily
27, bro.
All the
27.
Picks. Next year's the draft. You want a bunch of picks, and if so, I don't think we're going to be good this year. And if you're trading Myles, you're definitely punting on this year
for sure.
My biggest problem though is if you're trading them all for picks. You somehow get somebody to give you 3 first-round picks. The only team that's going to give you something like that is a team that thinks they're a Myles Garrett away from winning the Super Bowl. I don't need 3 number 32 picks. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, we're chances are we're going to be picking 35th anyways. you know what I mean? So I don't need 3 years of the number 32 pick, and it's just. So then you're talking player. Well, what's the only thing that I'm willing player-wise to give up Myles Garrett for? Obviously, franchise quarterback. Yeah. You're not getting a franchise quarterback for a defensive end. A Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. You're probably not. Nobody's giving those guys up. So the picks you're going to get aren't worth it to me unless you get a sucker team. If you get the Raiders, somebody like that, you are banking on being in the top 10. But we thought the Jaguars were going to be that. They turn around and it's pick 20, 24, 25, whatever it is. Yeah. So I just don't know if you can risk that. And I just don't know.
Another interesting aspect of this whole thing too is they added a no trade clause in this last contract. So let's say even if a sucker signs up and they go, hey, Vegas is on the phone, they want to trade for Myles Garrett, they're calling Myles Garrett and going, how you feel about going to Vegas? And if he decides, I don't really want to go to Vegas, deal's done, we're cooked. So there's just a lot riding on the whole thing right now. He's going to want to go to a Super Bowl contender. So if you trade him, he's not going to want to go to Tennessee. He's not going to want to go to a team that's got top 5, what would become, you would think, top 5 picks down the road.
Is there a chance? I don't know cap stuff well enough for this, but is there a chance we did this because it frees up money right now, right? Because we didn't give it to him yet. So in theory, that it's freeing up, giving us a chance to make a move for somebody, and then we have restructuring wiggle room to do with him after.
No, see, I originally thought that too. And then as I was reading through again, and I have no reason to promote Jack Duff into all you guys out there other than he knows his stuff. He's right about it all the time. Just follow him and his stuff and you will be right. You don't have to worry about getting lost in the muck, because what he wrote here is that Myles was due $32.5 million this year, no matter what. No matter what. That money was allocated to him. It was just 29.2 of it was due today. And instead of paying it now today, they're going to pay it in September. So it really does not free up any money. That's why originally I was like, oh, well, this gives us some flexibility. Maybe they are doing this to sign somebody or have a little more cap space in the offseason as we go forward. Not the case. So whenever Jack said the only reason to do this is to elongate the window that you have to trade him this year. Because if you paid him today, that window's closed. Right. Now it's all the way to September.
I just don't know if, to me, Myles Garrett's worth more to us than what he is to other people. To the Browns, he's worth 5 first-round draft picks. He's worth 5 top 10 picks. Not low 30s picks or the 32nd pick. And nobody's going to give you that. They're going to give you 2 or maybe 2 in a mid-level player. Well, that's, to us, he's worth more on our team to us than that. So I don't know.
I know it's one of those situations though where if he walks into the Andrew Berry's office or Jimmy Haslam and says, "I want out of here,"
yeah,
there's just he's not doing it 2 years in a row.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What's the over-under on that?
And if he did Justin said he did just say, unless they tell me we're retooling.
If he did, yeah, but he can say
come on, what do we really do? We are rebuilding. We're in the middle of a rebuild.
He can say whatever he wants. He also said it's not about the money, I want out. And then he signed his name on the dotted line and took a big fat paycheck. So it doesn't really matter what he says. Of course we're rebuilding. We're going to go from one of the older teams in the league to arguably the youngest team in the league in a matter of 2 years. We're getting 5 new offensive linemen. of course, this is the definition of a rebuild. He knew that when he signed. He knew we weren't 1 year away from being good. And I just, if he demanded a trade, why would the Browns give in? They didn't give in last year, so why would he give in this year? Okay, go ahead, sit out every single game. The Browns hold all the power. He signed. So they've already proven that they can play chicken like that. And, so it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make sense to trade him. If you could get high picks or some stud level player, but those stud level players, for the most part, don't get traded. And then high level draft picks, a team that's in full rebuild mode like the Browns aren't giving up 2-3 draft picks.
No, the team that wants Myles Garrett, like you've already said, is going to be a contending team, and they're not giving up a stud player in return because they're a contending team.
Correct.
Unless it's a contract
AJ Brown.
situation. Right. Unless it's a contract thing where it benefits the team to move him too. But either way, like I'm not saying, and Jack's not saying that this is the plan or they did this in order to trade him. I think it's more of the option is now on the table between now and September until that bonus is paid. Once that bonus is paid in September, if he's still on the team by then he'll be here. He's not getting moved at the deadline or anything.
As soon as this got reported to, like AB's phone just started blowing up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
As soon as AB worked the rework with Myles and his agent, I'm sure he was like, here it comes.
Yep. Oh,
definitely,
man. All right.
definitely wasn't that, hey, can we get 5 years worth of picks rule change? Definitely not that. No smoke in the air out here in Cleveland, Ohio. Just chemical.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. I don't want to trade Myles.
Bro, y'all, listen, homie, I'll do therapy session with you right now. None of us want to try to trade Myles Garrett. You trade Myles Garrett, you basically look your fan base in the eye and you go, hey, you're getting a sweet new stadium, but we're going to look like shit for 3 years, 4 years, maybe the rest of your life. But at least you're going to have a great stadium. And
like there's moves that they have done that, like, I don't have to like Nick Chubb not being on my team, but I totally get why Nick Chubb wasn't on the team. You know what I mean? Say, like when they moved on from Jarvis, like when they moved on from Baker, all these kinds of things. I could at least, like, there were good reasons for all of those things. Myles Garrett just won Defensive Player of the Year again and set the sack record. He's literally in the middle of his prime. He's got probably minimum 3 years of being like very, very elite. He's showing no signs of slowing down. And then maybe a couple more, like a year or two of, a role player on a contending team, something like that. You just don't trade that guy. That's a cornerstone piece. You would now all of a sudden be in the need for an edge rusher. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
That you can't replace. That you will not replace. Yeah.
So it just to me, it doesn't make any sense for the Browns to trade him.
Well, in the chat here, Lil Mark the Kid says, how about Myles? And he's talking about going to the Cowboys. How about Myles to the Cowboys for their 2 firsts and George Pickens? And then we keep, obviously, pick 6 still. We have 3 first-round picks, and we take David Bailey at 6 to replace Myles Garrett.
I don't want Pickens.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I understand like how high his ceiling is and like how good he is. He even had moments this year on a team where he was, when CD was hurt, he's the one.
Yeah.
And there's plays questioning his effort, and his attitude. Like, are you serious? You're having a career year and we have to question your effort and your attitude. We just don't need that. We got a guy who's never been a head coach in the NFL. We got an offensive coordinator who's never been an offensive coordinator. We got a young team that needs some veteran leadership. That is the last thing we need on this roster is a George Pickens. The last thing we need.
Nope, I agree with you, man. Sorry,
So,
just kind of reading through the chat here.
You're good. All right. Do we want to jump into some voicemails here?
Sure. What did I say in the notes? The first one was it was Jack, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay, voicemail here from Jack.
Hey, what's going on? I just have a few takes on what we should do in the draft. I do think we have to take Carnell Tate. I do like Jordan Tyson, but his injury concerns are just getting too much, and I don't trust it anymore. I'm not high on the tackles in this class, so I do believe you have to take a hard look at Ty Simpson. I know everyone's high on Sanders after what he was able to do last year, but I'm not high on Sanders, and I do believe Ty Simpson is the best quarterback in this class, and he's being undervalued because his Alabama team couldn't help him out. Just want to know what your opinions are. Thanks.
Oh.
Dan Orlovsky did a great job disguising your voice there.
I'll say this. I don't think it's crazy to say he's the best one in the draft, but it just seems like there was two very different Ty Simpsons this college football season.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and say I watched every Alabama game or that I've done like a bunch of film study of Ty Simpson, but I remember like the first 8 or 9 games, whatever it was, I was like, this kid is good. Like he's athletic. He's making big time throws like all over the field. But then it was like the last month, it just fell off a cliff almost, it felt like. And I listened to a little bit about what McShay had to say about it, about they had 0 run game. They had like it's Alabama, and they were like outside the top 100 in terms of their rushing game. I mean, their wide receivers, that Ryan Williams kid drops the ball a lot, I think, if I'm remembering
correctly. He dropped one at the pro day today.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Just
come on, dude.
Like it's kind of hard to fathom to sit here and say like an Alabama quarterback didn't have a great supporting cast, but he kind of was doing all the heavy lifting for that offense. And he was very, very good. I understand the knocks on Mendoza and like what guys like Dan are saying. It's a lot of just like read option, or not read option, but RPOs. Like he's just like sticking in the belly, pulling out and throwing it to quick. Like there's not a lot of like big time NFL reads and NFL throws on his tape. So like I understand it. I just think, I don't know. It's one of those things. Can we take a quarterback? Are you,
bro? Yeah. I'll answer it for you.
And I know you're not going anywhere unless you have the quarterback. Right. But also, unless you have a plan to give him some weapons,
yes,
that guy is not going to be good at all either. You know, it's just.
So basically, what
the problem is the Browns are just. And I'm not trying to just jump on here for like my first episode in 2 weeks and just be like a total asshole, but the Browns are just going to suck. And it's just like there are so many holes to fill, especially on the offensive side of the ball, that it's just impossible to know what to do. Like and Angel Berry put himself in this situation.
Yeah.
But like you need receivers. We still need a left tackle probably. You know, the run game should be hopefully better with the improved offensive line, but is Quinshon Judkins going to bounce back after his injury? We have no idea if any of the quarterbacks on our roster can play football. I'm fairly confident Deshaun Watson cannot play football.
I'm confident.
I'm fairly confident Dylan Gabriel cannot play football. There's only one person on our roster that I'm like, let's see what he's got. And he needs some help before we can do that. So it's just, I really don't know what they should do. Honestly, probably just take a receiver.
Yeah. So, there's multiple things I want to touch on here, man, that you kind of brought up. The first one is Ty Simpson is probably going to go middle first round or somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't think he'll be there at 24. So are you willing to either trade back from 6 and take him at, I don't know, let's say 13 or 14, or trade up from 24 and see if you can snag him? The problem, and you touched on it already, is we got a lot of holes. Why the hell are we drafting another quarterback? We touched on this, I think, Thursday on Discord, and somebody brought up a name. It was a quarterback, and I just said, I don't understand what has happened in like the last 3 months where we like the fan base has just completely given up on Shedeur Sanders. Like we're like, oh, the guy sucks, blah, blah, blah. Deshaun Watson should be starting. He's obviously way better than Shedeur Sanders. I literally the other day I was just like, what the hell happened? Like, the guy had no offensive line, no weapons. We saw glimpses where we were like, there might be something there for sure. And we're just rolling into this year going, yeah, we should definitely just take Ty Simpson or Drew Aller or another one of these guys. Is this not what has plagued us from get-go, this team? It's just a constant hey, let's draft 2 quarterbacks. Hey, let's draft 2 more quarterbacks. Hey, let's fire our coach. Then let's draft 2 more quarterbacks. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I mean, obviously I'm going to keep signing up for it, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. We have no receivers. We have rebuilt the offensive line. I go get some receivers. What you aren't even giving the guy a chance to prove what he's capable of. It makes 0 sense, and it's so frustrating.
I mean, Blake just said that at Alabama he didn't have a great supporting cast. Well, it's not getting any better in Cleveland, No. So I'm kind of with Blake. I actually did watch quite a few of the Alabama games in that first half of the season because I was watching Ty Simpson. I was like, okay, this guy's getting some buzz. Let's see what he's got. And he looked okay. And then, whether it was the state of the roster, the injuries, defense is kind of figuring out that, hey, they don't have a run game. We can just key in on this. It just didn't look as good and sharp as, the second part of the season there. I just get very hesitant on these 1-year starters in college. He probably should have gone back. Why didn't he go back? Maybe this is why, because he knew somebody told him, like, you will be a first-round pick. Like, just go now. But
if you're a mid quarterback, this is the year to come out.
Yeah, for sure.
Next year
be in the
looks like
first
it's going
round
to be
next year.
No,
if it was next year's class now is what I'm saying. But
yeah,
it's just that 1 year of experience, and it wasn't like a complete season, and it's just you are really. I just don't know if you can do a first round pick on a quarterback like Justin said, because
how many project quarterbacks are we going to draft and then not give an opportunity to develop? What are we doing as an organization? What are we doing?
We're drafting one next year.
For sure. That's why I'm confident we're not taking one this year, because they already said they're going to go and look at 2027 for a quarterback, because they're talking out loud. The owner says these things at press conferences for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, no, we don't need another developmental guy. We don't need that right now. We should develop the one we have, or try to.
I'm perfectly fine with taking a guy late. Like the 5th round, like a Drew Aller, who I know I've made fun of a ton when he was in college. But this is the way I look at this. You basically got a quarterback spot on this roster that you can get rid of. Dylan Gabriel doesn't have to be on this team next year. So if you addressed wide receiver and a left tackle and maybe a safety or another corner or maybe even 2 wide receivers, and you find yourself in the 5th and Drew Aller's still there, and you want to take a flyer on him in the 5th and bring him in, Deshaun's not even in this conversation for me, and you want to let Drew Aller compete with Shedeur and see how he looks because he's got all these tools, I'm perfectly fine with that, because you don't have to carry 5. Dylan Gabriel's a 3rd round pick with the coach who wanted him not here anymore. There's no allegiance to him. You just get rid of him. So I do think there's an open, but you can't do that in the 1st round. Like, I'm okay with taking the flyer on the guy who has maybe some upside and some tools late. I just don't know if I can do it in the 1st round. It just, there's too many holes. Who's he going to throw to?
I'm not even kidding when I say this. We're in like an injury away at some positions where we go from very good to very just garbage. And then there's positions where we aren't even dependable on the starter. We cannot take a quarterback in the 1st. My head will explode.
And I've been talking about this with other people too. And Blake, I know, like, I was kind of where you are too a while ago, saying, like, if you want to take quarterback, a flyer late, whatever. But going to what Justin just said, like, going through the roster and how shallow it is, we have no depth, and even like the special teams depth in the 5th round. I think we still need to use those picks to at least get some guys in here that can contribute on special teams. Because if you take a quarterback and he ends up being your QB3, or hell, even your QB2, that's not helping us because he's not playing. He's not going out there on special teams.
There's a good chance that guy you took in the 5th isn't going to play either, though, even on special teams. There's a good chance he's not going to make the roster.
Picking it?
Just not a lot of 5th, 6th, 7th rounders even make rosters. So,
well, they're going to make ours.
This is true. But no, that's kind of my thoughts on this. Like, I understand what guys like McShay and Dan are saying about him. I do think if, like, you put his best tape against Fernando Mendoza, obviously had the story. and he helped turn around Indiana, took in national championship, and he had a couple big moments, but like they're just what he was asked to do, I guess, doesn't necessarily translate as well to the NFL in terms of just like, I don't think he ever took a snap under center. I think I heard
crazy.
that. At least this, like, I don't know if he took an entire snap under center his entire season at Indiana. So like, even though I think Mendoza's good, I just don't know if he's like a slam dunk, like some people are saying. But we have too many holes. Cardinal, I'm like Sonny Weaver Jr. I'm holding a Post-it note in my hand that just says Cardinal Tate no matter what. And it doesn't matter what anybody says or what happens. The ticket's already, as long as he's on the board, that's who I'm picking.
Well, here, let me, before we go to like our next topic or next voicemail, let me just ask you guys a question. Because let me ask you this question after I play a quick break. How's that sound?
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. This episode is partnered with Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the draft? Will the Browns make their pick at 6, or will they trade out of that spot? And in other sports, will the Cavs win the NBA Finals? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right?
This time of year, the school calendar really starts to fill up. Spring activities, testing season, and that final push toward the end of the year. It's a great moment for kids to stay focused and build confidence in what they're learning. That's where IXL comes in. IXL is an award-winning online learning platform that helps kids truly understand their schoolwork, from math and reading to writing and science. It's designed for pre-K through 12th grade, with personalized interactive content that adapts to each child's level and pace. IXL makes it easy to stay on track with instant feedback and clear explanations, skills organized by grade level, and simple progress tracking. It fits into even the busiest spring schedules. It's also trusted nationwide. In fact, IXL is used in 96 of the top 100 school districts in the U.S. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. Listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price.
There's something about spring that just feels like a reset. Longer days, fresh energy, and the motivation to try something new. This spring, that something new could be learning a new language. That's where Rosetta Stone comes in. They've been a leader in language learning for over 30 years, with an immersive method that helps you learn naturally, connecting words, visuals, and meaning in context instead of memorizing or translating. With over 25 languages to choose from, like Spanish, French, German, even Japanese, Rosetta Stone is a go-to tool for real language learning. It's designed to help you think in your new language so what you learn actually sticks. Plus, True Accent gives real-time feedback on your pronunciation so you sound more natural, like having a personal coach. And you can learn anytime, anywhere, whether you've got 5 minutes or a full hour. Ready to start learning a new language this spring? Visit rosettastone.com/today to explore Rosetta Stone and choose the language that's right for you. Go to rosettastone.com/today now and begin your language learning journey.
Reggie, I just sold my car online.
Let's go, Grandpa. Wait, you did?
Yep, on Carvana. Just put in the license plate, answered a few questions, got an offer in minutes. Easier than setting up that new digital picture frame.
You don't say.
Yeah, they're even picking it up tomorrow. Talk about fast.
Wow, way to go. So, about that picture frame.
Forget about it. Until Carvana makes one, I'm not interested.
Car selling made easy. On Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, AlumaGuard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
All right, here's my question for you guys.
Okay.
I want Carnell Tate so bad, especially after watching like his pro day videos today, watching his interviews. I'm like, this dude, he's a dog. He's going to come in here. I think he's going to be legit. If he's on the board at 6, which it's very likely, there's a very good chance he will be. Obviously, we're going to be doing our draft show live that night. We're going to be sitting there just pounding the table, Carnell Tate. How likely do you think it is that we actually take Carnell Tate? Do you think Andrew Berry has the stones to actually invest a high pick in a receiver?
I mean, everything he said in this, like the offseason, was obviously the focus has to be on the offensive side of the ball. You'd be blind to not think that a number one wide receiver is not arguably the biggest need for the offense. It's just if he doesn't and like he turns around and ends up somewhere I hate. Oh my God. If you thought the blow up when we took Mason Graham last year was bad, be there live for the draft party this year when we don't draft Carnell Tate at 6 if he's available. God, it'll be bad.
I'll say this, Josh, just about like the Andrew Berry thing. There's been times where like glaring weaknesses on this whole, it becomes his main priority. We had times where like linebacker was a major issue, offensive line was a major issue, and opposite Myles. It's always, I feel like there's a positional group or something that needs addressed and he kind of attacks it. The offensive line was one of those groups. It was addressed, it's definitely in a better spot than it was, let's say, a month ago. I just don't know how you can go Judy, Bond, and Tillman, and then the depth pieces behind that. We're talking Gage Larvidan. We're talking
Malachi Corley.
Corley. I think Luke Flory is still like on I don't know.
What are we
what the
doing?
Deal. So that's what I'm presenting to you guys is I'm saying like it is very glaring. Our number one was not reliable as a receiver last year. He just wasn't. Bond came in late. He showed flashes, but to me, it's just a very, very weak positional group. And the other one was addressed that we were like, that's an alarming issue on our team as far as the offensive line.
So what makes me so worried about it is just looking back at the history here. So we've got 6 years of Andrew Berry. The most significant investment he's made into the wide receiver room was flipping a mid-second round pick to the Jets for Elijah Moore and a third in return.
Yep.
That's it. Like, yes, he traded for Amari Cooper, but that was for a fifth. Like, a significant investment, draft capital, mid-second round pick is all he's been willing to do.
I will say this, in his defense, you didn't need to because you had Amari Cooper. And then supposedly you didn't need to because you had Jerry Jeudy and he blew up the first year you had him. So like, no, you weren't going to use a first or second round pick on a wide receiver. Amari Cooper had his 2 best statistical seasons of his career when he was here. So there were other needs that were a higher need than wide receiver. The problem is he drafted a guy like Cedric Tillman who could be really good, but you can't stay on the field.
Mm-mm.
I could be wrong.
We cannot count on Cedric Tillman to be our number 2 this year.
No,
it's like I'm having deja vu. We had this conversation last year in preseason where I said we're like a Jerry Jeudy injury away from Jamari Thrash being our number 1 wide receiver. That was in fruition by like week 4.
Yeah,
we were trying. Jamari Thrash,
he wasn't even active. He was on the practice squad or waived.
It was one of the I'm at the point with wide receiver on this team. I'm taking Carnell Tate at 6, and then I'm finding a way to get Boston on this team too. Like my first 2 picks are wide receiver. As long as one of those top 4 are still there, my top 2 picks are wide receiver, and then I'll take my tackle or like the kid out of Iowa. Is he a tackle or a guard?
Guard.
Like something like that with my first pick in the second. And I'll go from I'm taking Jerry Jeudy and I'm putting him at the number 3 receiver, or he can be an exclusively a slot receiver or something, because I don't even like him being on my team. I definitely don't want him as the number 1 or number 2 wide receiver on my team.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the point where 2 wide receivers, I mean, I would be shocked, but I would love, if they came for me right now, I would be like Carnell Tate and Casey Concepcion. I think that would be sweet. Something like that.
The only thing that kind of messes it up for me as far as like the taking 2 receivers right off the bat, just back to back, is are we confident at left tackle? Because right now,
no, we're taking.
We're either taking a rookie, or are we just mismatching the line and we're gonna count on DeJuan Jones again? I don't think you can do that either.
You have that early 2nd round pick. Here's my thing with the tackles, which I think there's a voicemail about this, but most of these, I heard like 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 3 months, that this was not a good draft to need a left tackle. This was not a good tackle draft. You know what I mean? And then, of course, it happens every year. You get to the end of the season, and then all of a sudden the talking heads get on TV and start talking people up, and guys go from, oh, this was a day 2 pick to all of a sudden they're a top 10 pick. You know, we see it every single year. And that's happening to a lot of these tackles just because teams need tackles. 3 months ago, none of these guys were 1st round picks. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm fine with going receiver, and taking the best one available right there in the early 2nd round. I'd feel better about that than reaching on a tackle and letting a good wide receiver slip through our fingers just because of the need.
No, I agree with that 100%, bro. 100%.
For me, the only tackle I would even entertain at 6 is Maui Noah. He's the only one. And he's a right tackle, true right tackle. He played right tackle all throughout college. Doesn't mean he can't play left tackle. We've tried that before. I don't really like doing it. But hey, doesn't mean it can't happen. Whatever. Either way. That's the only guy. Everybody else, I know some people are really high on like Spencer Fano from Utah. He's got some of the shortest arms in this class. He's definitely going to be a guard in the NFL. Like, he's not going to be a tackle. So you can't take him high and expect him to be like your left tackle. It's not going to work out. And then Freeling, that's a reach, big reach at 6. Reach. Justin and I were talking about that before we got on here. And everybody else, to me, the gap, like after you get past Maui Noah, the next group of tackles, take your pick. And it should be in that 24 range, not in the 6 range.
And
wide
I feel like
once you get past Carnell Tate. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. You're good. I mean, it's just Caden Proctor's another guy, but like they're all developmental guys. Like after, you know what I mean? They are project guys. That's where I'm saying, like, if you have an opportunity to land an offensive weapon at wide receiver, you turn that card in immediately. You don't trade back. You don't mess around and see what, extra stuff you can get. We've been there before. Yeah, my biggest fear going into it is that Carnell Tate's not going to be there at 6. That's where I'm like, draft night, completely plan is shot. What do we do from here?
And here's my thing about taking Carnell Tate before we move on. If we take Carnell Tate at 6 and he's not good, fine. But don't not pick him and then he goes somewhere else and he's awesome. If you take Carnell Tate, the guy from wide receiver U, where they're just churning out the best, top wide receivers, and you just happen to pick the one that ends up being the bust, fine. I'll live with those repercussions. Like I'm going to take those odds. Odds are he's not going to be a bust because like none of them have been, So if we're just that so unlucky and God smites us that often that we happen to pick the one Ohio State wide receiver that just doesn't pan out, well, fine. That's fine. You took the guy who was supposed to be surefire. The draft is a crapshoot. I will live with that decision. I cannot live with another Julio Jones situation. Like a trade, and this guy's going to walk into the Hall of Fame on his first day of eligibility, and we picked 4 players that barely didn't even make the roster. I just can't live with that. I'm perfect. I can die on the Carnell Tate hill, and if he turns out to not be good, I'll say, well, we did what we were supposed to do. We took the guy from the best wide receiver school in the country, and he was the best one on the team. Well, besides Jeremiah Smith, and we're gonna ride or die with that. I'm fine with that.
And that's what I was pointing out on social media the other day. And it goes to what you were just saying a second ago, Blake, about these risers over the draft season and post combine. Monroe Freeling, when the college football season ended in January, was projected at pick 79 on mock draft database. Mid third round pick is where he was being mocked by the industry experts at that time. And now, a couple months later, no more football's been played, by the way. He hasn't stepped on a football field and actually played a game since then. We're talking about him at 6.
Yeah,
but Cardinal Tate, if you go back and look when the season ended, Cardinal Tate on mock draft database history has never been outside the top 10 on their mocks. Like the industry has always had him top 10.
There's a reason.
Yes, there's a reason.
So, all right, let's get to another voicemail.
All right, this one's from Zach.
What's up? It's Zach again, a.k.a. Fake Burns. Another voicemail in here today, just because my last one got me thinking, especially when I heard myself in the podcast talking about it. Still fully on board for Tate, Tyson, Lemon at 6. Maybe kind of a hot take for Tyson or Lemon at 6, but personally, I would love for this team to have a elite wide receiver at least once in my lifetime that isn't addicted to drugs. But I don't know if this next thing is a hot take or not. But to be honest, I also wouldn't be mad with Caleb Downs. And I'm not an Ohio State fan, for clarification. I grew up an Ohio State fan. I still somewhat support the team, but I went to UC, and when you go to UC, a bunch of those diehard OSU fans are kind of assholes to guys that go to UC, especially when we made the playoffs. So it kind of made me have a bad taste in my mouth. But I really like Caleb Downs, and I've always been a big proponent this offseason of we don't need defense. Please don't take defense. I'm going to be pissed if we take defense, but to be honest, why do you pass on him if he's there, you know? I know we've briefly talked about it on this podcast, but I would just like to know what other people are thinking about it. I think, honestly, I'd want Downs more than an offensive lineman after this free agency, which is definitely a hot take. But, yeah, I'm just curious. How would we feel about Downs? Go Browns, hoo-hoo.
Woo!
It's a good one. I will say,
it is a good one.
I went to Ohio State, and I was in full force rooting for Cincinnati when they were in the playoff a few years back. So,
Zach, I'm an idiot. I did not go to Ohio State. I actually went to community college and did not succeed. Shocking.
I did. I spent a lot of time at Ohio State.
You sure did. You lived
enrolled.
on my couch pretty much the whole time.
I didn't know you graduated from Ohio State, Blake.
We didn't graduate, but
I never even stepped foot in a classroom.
We're all in this together.
Step foot in every bar.
There were times when I wouldn't be there and say, did Blake go home for the weekend? Josh said, like, no, he doesn't actually go here. He's finally at home. I got him. I had to roll him off my couch.
Blake was like in Mean Girl. She doesn't even go here.
Yeah, that was me. Oh, man. All right. Well, now you guys know a little bit about my past life. I was just an idiot who crashed at Josh's house all the time while he was getting an education, skipping my own college classes at my own college. Oh, man. Here's my issue with Downs. Obviously, he's a great player, and I love the guy. You just can't. We can't pick a defensive player. And like I see people saying, like, if Tate's not there, go Arvell Reese. Go no. I just know. How many years do we have to watch a pitiful, historically bad offense? I can't understand the people who are the Browns fans who are telling us to pick them. Like, have we not watched the same team for the last 2 years? What are we doing? Like, I can't even wrap my brain around that.
Well,
so, go ahead,
Josh.
No, you got it.
The only thing I would say, man, is before you got on, so we've been kind of looking at the rosters and stuff, and I was talking to Josh, and I'm like, man, like cornerback, safety room, like very thin, like scary thin. So I kind of said to him, I was like, what if Tate goes at 4 or 5 to New York or Tennessee or whoever? Like, in what scenario do you just go, hey, maybe I just take the blue chip guy, in Downs and take best available? Because in my opinion, I feel like we're building for the future, but the future is still way down the road. My defense on this thing is receiver still, but like if Tate goes, I like Mekhi Lemon a lot, but he's a guy that you could probably get a little farther back. You know what I mean? And then that's where you get into that dangerous game of, okay, so you trade back, but do you still get your guy? Are you still able to bring in a guy? Because I think Mekhi Lemon can be nice. He could come in and absolutely make an impact on this team, considering what their wide receiver room is. But it definitely shakes up the whole night. And it's Josh, tell him what you told me about Ronnie Hickman, because I had no idea.
Oh, Ronnie Hickman is a restricted free agent, so he's not currently on the roster. They tendered him, but originally reported as a second-round tender, meaning the team would have to negotiate with him, and then if we didn't match it, they'd have to also send us a second-round pick. That was misreported in the beginning, so actually it was just a right of first refusal tender, meaning teams can negotiate with Ronnie Hickman. We just get the first right to match that offer sheet. But if we don't, if a team gives him a higher contract than what we would have been willing to give him, then he's gone. And we are Grant Delpit. That's it.
That's it. Grant Delpit.
And I get that. I just think your a number one wide receiver has much more value to this team than a safety.
So this, maybe that's not what Zach meant. I'm not sure, but I was looking at his question as in, like you guys are saying, if Tate's gone, if like Maui Noah's gone, because to me, those are the top two offensive guys other than like Jeremiah Love, which we can entertain that conversation at some point if we want to. Sure. But outside of offense, like if you're picking here at 6, say we can't find a trade back partner, we're forced to pick at 6, Tate's gone, Maui Noah's gone. The best players on the board are all defensive players. If you have to pick at 6 and you take a Monroe Freeling or somebody like that, you're reaching. Like, are we going to look back on this draft and say that's the year that we took Freeling instead of Downs or, Delane or one of these other guys that are on the board? It does get to be a really hairy game, but there's no doubt Downs is going to be a great player. This episode is sponsored by Butcher Box for Pets. Browns fans, we love our fellow dogs, our Dog Pack members, and the Dog Pound faithful, but let's not kid ourselves. The most important dogs in our lives are, well, our dogs. Your furry friends aren't just pets, they're part of the family. But the question is, what are you actually feeding them? Head to butcherbox4pets.com/products to see all the options for your dogs, including fresh and dry foods, treats, meal toppers, and even toys for your dog. If you're not sure what your dog will like best, try the Premium Nutrition Adult Starter Pack. And they even have a vacation bundle to take care of your four-legged friends while you're on vacation this summer. And right now you can get 20% off your order with promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out. At ButcherBox, they believe in real ingredients. Their pet foods have been developed and certified by vet nutritionists to contain 0 artificial flavors or preservatives. You get protein-packed formula with over 50% of the recipe comprised of third-party certified humane ButcherBox meat, plus functional ingredients like pre- and postbiotics to support your dog's vitality and digestion. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line is your dogs are getting the nutrition and the value they need and honestly that they deserve. I know our home wouldn't be the same without Odie, our 100-pound golden retriever who thinks he's a 10-pound lap dog. He is not, but it gives us peace of mind knowing that we're giving him quality food instead of just that factory processed garbage from the store. And speaking of the store, no need to go. ButcherBox for Pets delivers their high-quality food right to your door. So head to butcherboxforpets.com/products and use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 20% off your order. It's time for us dogs to give our dogs the nutrition they deserve.
Oh, man. Let's just hope we don't have to cross that bridge because
draft night's going to be fun, I think.
Draft
I think
night
it's going to be wild.
It's going to be great. It's going to be just wonderful.
Do we want to move on to Justin's voicemail?
Yep.
What's up, Dog Podcast? Your friendly neighborhood Browns fan out here in Jersey. Just had a quick question here, and that's if at pick 6 we're sitting there and Carnell Tate is off the board. The Giants take him, and also Jeremiah Love's off the board, and you're sitting there and these 4 players are available. Who are you taking at 6? Francis McGoy, I think I said his name right. Spencer Fano, Monroe Freeling, or Jordan Tyson. So out of those 4, first off, who would you take, and would you take any of them at 6 if that's the options available? Anyways, go Browns. Hoo-hoo.
Easy. You take the left tackle from Miami all day.
Left tackle?
Is he a left tackle?
He's a right tackle.
Okay. Will you take that guy?
Him.
You take him.
Noah.
Yeah. And if you pinned an arm and he wasn't there, because I don't think he's going to be there, Jordan Tyson, I mean, injury history is scary, but he's electric.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a hot take. Jordan Tyson's off my draft board.
I'm not interested.
Because of the history.
He's hurt now.
That's true. Yeah, looks like it.
There's not even football going on. He's hurt right now. This dude, when was the last time this guy was healthy for more than like a month in a row? You can't do it. You are the Cleveland Browns. I've said this on this show before. If you pick a guy who's even sprained a toe before, it'll become an amputation the minute he steps into Berea. Like you can't do it. He cannot be on your draft board. I'm sorry. He's very good. I'd love to team him and have the Cleveland brothers together. Like it would be awesome. But you just can't. You can't do it. You can't risk it. If he goes somewhere else and he's awesome, I'll live with that also. Because it wouldn't have happened if he was here. He would have rolled into Berea and he would have slipped on some ice, and one of these injuries would become life-threatening, and he'd never play for the Browns. Because that's Cleveland, and that's what happens in Cleveland. We can't take guys who have an injury history because it will 100% be his legacy in Cleveland.
You're not wrong, bro.
I'm glad that you said that because honestly, I haven't come out and like directly made that statement, but I've been skirting around it because I'll talk about Carnell Tate all the time, and then it's like, well, then I'll throw Mekhi Lemon in there. But I never really go down that Jordan Tyson route because I'm with you. He's kind of just off my board unless he's there at 24 and he didn't take a receiver. Then okay, I can get on board then, but I don't know, man. The injury stuff does scare me. Definitely not at 6. I wouldn't take him at 6. If these were the 4 at 6, for me, it's 100% Francis Maui-Noa. Like I said, Fano's a guard to me. I think if he ends up playing tackle in the NFL, that's one I'll live with. Fine. He ends up being a tackle, cool. I was wrong. But I think he's playing guard. Freeling, I just can't do it at 6. Too much of a reach.
Hasn't he, Freeling, correct me if I'm wrong, he's barely played, right?
One season.
He had like a crazy good season this past season. But
which I don't love to hold against some of these guys who played at top universities because there's NFL guys in front of them. I mean, hell, Carnell Tate, but it's just like, it's such a little sample size. You know what I mean? I don't know. And
I was looking at some numbers earlier and they were talking about his like PFF pass block grade, but also it's a shit ton of play action. Like, it's not even a true assessment of how he is as a, drop back and actually block for your quarterback. Like, it's just a lot of the guy had a crazy good combine. And so obviously it elevates, but don't make us the suckers. Like, this is the kind of thing that the Browns would do. Oh, guy just emerges, kind of out of nowhere. And yeah, we'll just take him with our number 6 pick in the draft. And when he might slide. Seriously.
It's possible. Yeah.
All right. Do we want to get to Adam's voicemail?
Yep. We'll get to Adam. And then Justin, don't worry, man. We're going to leave it. We're going to let you end it out with your monologue.
Oh, yeah.
But first, Adam.
Hey, boys. It's Adam from El Paso. Hey, the podcast episodes about the draft have been phenomenal. I know that's been the main point of conversation lately. And I just want to change the subject for a second. With the schedule we have coming up, being one of the weakest in the NFL, which I'm greatly appreciative of, with a brand new head coach, we got a quarterback that has shown glimpses of really great potential, but we don't quite know about. We're having a new offensive line come into town. We got a running back that can put down some pretty serious yards. We got a formidable threat at tight end. And realistically, we're a number 6 draft pick away from a wide receiver 1. I don't know about you boys, but this may be way premature, way too early, and I can agree with it. I'm getting a lot of 2020 vibes out of this upcoming season. I'm going to be honest with that. I know I've spoke about it earlier, and with how good do we actually have to be to compete in the AFC North with the status of the AFC North the way it is. Joe Burrow can't stay on the field. I don't know who the QB is in Pittsburgh or what's even going on over there. They have a new head coach for the first time in almost 20 years. How good do we have to be? I know Blake has answered this and said we still have the worst roster in the AFC North, but I don't think we're that far away, guys. I don't think this is a 2 or 3 year thing. I think that we could be.
And then he got cut off.
He sounds like I've sounded for my whole life.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he sounds like what I sounded going into last year. Well, we got this, and as Browns fans, I do like fanning and stuff. Like we have some really good young pieces, but like most of our lives, we've way overvalued our guys. Like this guy's so good. Nope, he's not that good. He's good to us in Cleveland because we like him, but then he leaves and like a DPJ. Like we loved DPJ. We would have given him our house, and then he's out of the league in 2 years after he's not in Cleveland. Like we way overvalue
David Njoku,
guys.
man.
Yeah,
he's not
Njoku's
signed yet.
Not signed yet.
It's crazy.
It's just kind of crazy. So it's just here's my issue. We're gonna be real young, and not just on the field. I know Monken is an older coach. This is his first head coaching experience in the NFL. Almost his entire staff is their first time in their current positions. We're going to be young on the field, young coaching staff with little experience in their current roles. Skill position wise, we're still inept unless we can. And if you do get a number one wide receiver, it's him and then still just Judy. And in terms of like the AFC North, I understand there's some coaching turnover, but do we really think Baltimore's not going to be good?
They're probably going to be good, dog.
You know what I mean? They're probably going to be pretty good. And I might be crazy, but the Mike McCarthy hiring for the Steelers scares me a little bit in terms of their biggest issue for the last 10 years has been offense. If they had ever had an offense to go with their defense, like they could have been real contenders. They just hired a good offensive coach. Like, I understand he was kind of maybe the safe pick and not a lot of people love him, but he knows offense. They put up points in Dallas, so now all this, and they just traded for Pittman to go with DK. Like, I don't love that they now have an offensive coach in Pittsburgh. And if Aaron Rodgers comes back for one more, he played well last year. You put him back with McCarthy. He's going to know the system. I don't know. Like, and we have a better defense than the Bengals, but we have a far worse offense than the Bengals. So I don't know. To me, standing here right now, we're fighting the Bengals for third place.
And if we trade Myles Garrett, and like Justin said, we got no depth on defense, a couple of guys get hurt. We talked about it last year too. We won 5 games with some of the worst offense you can imagine. Like, it's easily the worst offense I've ever watched. But as far as bad offense I can even imagine in my head, I can't even think of anything that bad that we watched last year. And we still won 5 games. And we've said this before. A couple things go different ways and a few others. We could have won 8 games last year, which is crazy to think about with how bad that team was. So if a couple things bounce the right way in 2026, sure, we could sneak out some wins that we probably shouldn't, or have a higher win total than we expect. Things could also bounce the other direction where we're walking out with the number 2 pick in the draft again, kind of thing. So
I think everybody's cautiously optimistic about Monken, but let's not remember our first reaction to him being hired. And we really don't know.
Right.
Like, we have no idea if he's going to be good or not, being a head coach. We don't know if our offensive coordinator is going to be good or not. We don't know. We literally know nothing about this team. So I can't sit here and think like, oh, we're the number 6 pick away and a good receiver away from probably being pretty competitive. We don't even know if our guy can coach. There's just, I guess, a month into the season, we'll see kind of how I feel, I guess. But as of right now, I'm shocked if we eclipse 5 games. The only thing going our way is, at least on paper, it's a much easier schedule on paper. That'll probably change it a month into the season also.
Yeah. Justin,
all right,
what
Justin,
do you got for us, bud?
Bring it home for us.
Well, I prepared a monologue for Carnell Tate getting taken off the board before pick 6. So I have no monologue for this other, but let me just give you guys a scenario that I've been thinking about. We were looking at depth, cornerback. You have Denzel, you have Tyson, which, nice addition. But behind those guys, it's rough. It's really, really bad. So I propose a question to you. How would you guys feel about reaching out to a guy that we used to love that just kind of had a unfortunate injury in Martin Emerson Jr., and seeing if you can get him back, on the team for some depth. I would love to have him back on the team, but he's coming off a brutal Achilles injury, kind of a prove it deal, I would guess. I don't see him getting a long multi-year deal coming off an injury like that. So how would you guys feel about reaching out to Martin Emerson?
Well, I would be quite upset if we didn't, because I thought he was still on our team. So, so that tells you how out of the loop I've been. I would be pretty upset if we don't. So I don't know.
What's he not doing
Josh.
out there?
Yeah. Let's find that guy for not being at practice.
I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think it was Barry Shuck wrote about this. Or I was talking to Barry about it. Like, Barry texts me sometimes. We have these conversations. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about Martin Emerson, and he talked to Martin Emerson's dad, and the rehab's going well and everything, and the market doesn't at the moment appear to be out there for Martin Emerson as far as getting like a 2 or 3 year extension, because for a couple seasons there, it looked like that's what he would be at minimum up for. A
rookie year was crazy.
Second, come off that rookie deal, get a nice second contract. Yeah, he was playing well, and then last year was going to be his year to really make that statement. Lost a whole season to the Achilles in training camp. It could be a situation where it's becoming more likely, actually, that he'll be back with the Browns on a 1 year deal, like Justin said, a prove it deal. I don't know what it would be, $3-4 million deal, 5 maybe, something, just or up to with incentives. They do those kind of contracts. That's probably what I see with Martin Emerson if he comes back. But that would be great, because we know what he can do. I mean, it would be a prove it, like come off this injury. Can you still do what you can
still
do?
Got it.
And, yeah.
That's another thing, going back to our last topic in terms of what I expect for this season. 31 expiring contracts into this year. It's not just the starters that are bad. Like you said, Justin, we're like 2 or 3, they're going to happen injuries away from fielding a practice squad team. If you have 31 expiring contracts, you have no depth. If 31 expiring contracts, there's no depth there.
No.
So it's just like it, and guys are going to get hurt. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
Like you don't expect guys to play 17 games. You're hoping you can get 14 plus out of them. So it's just going back to that, like the depth isn't there. We still have no wide receiver core, essentially, no left tackle. I wish I had Adam's optimism.
And that's the thing too. Like you said, it's Browns fans, and I get that way after the draft, through the summer, training camp. You get all the hype and everything. It's like, you know what? I think we're going to be okay here. And then, as me and Justin,
pour me a glass of that Kool-Aid, bro.
Yeah, we walk up there week 1 versus the Cowboys. It's like, oh boy, I think we're going to suck.
Yep.
Suck.
This is the comment that I feel. He says, if this happens, and if this guy plays better, and if this O-line can play average, and if Shedeur can learn audibles, and if the O-line protection is better this season, then we can win. That's a whole lot of ifs. You're banking on a whole lot of ifs to go your way. I would just for one time to walk into the season knowing this is good. You know what I mean?
Roster's okay. This is weird.
And maybe my biggest gripe, and this year it's really bad and last year's bad, but it seems like Andrew Berry can never get the whole roster together.
Thank you. Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like even when we had a decent offense and decent defense, the linebacking core was still terrible.
Yes.
It's like if we can just get the linebackers, and then we go and we get a JOK, but then the interior D line's awful. And it's like, okay, if we can get the interior D line, we're going to be good. Okay, but now we have no wide receivers. It's like, I don't understand how every other GM in the league can build a total roster, and we're constantly chasing a missing piece. And by the time we can find that missing piece, this piece is gone. It's either old or it got hurt or it left. You know what I mean? It reminds me, Andrew Berry reminds me of the cartoon, and there's the pipes in front of him, and he gets a leak, and he puts a hand up here, and then another leak is here. And then he puts a hand up here, and then he has to put his freaking forehead
on it. Yeah,
and then next thing you know, and then he's just drowning.
Yes.
Because there's just all these leaks. That's what I feel. There's never a fix where the roster really comes together as a whole. He's just constantly, oh shit, I got to plug here. Oh, I got to plug here. Oh, and then next thing you know, there's just nothing left of the pipes, and we're all dead. So that's
inside,
how I feel.
Inside, dead inside.
Yes, that's how I feel about. That's how I feel about the roster and the way that AB has constructed it. It's like even when he's made some good moves, there's still glaring holes, and by the time those get addressed, something else is messed up. Like, what are we? I don't know.
I feel that was a great point because, he spent 6 years just trying to get the interior of the D-line right. He drafted a D tackle every freaking draft, and they would never work. Hey, we finally got Malik Collins, and we drafted Mason Graham. Year later, we're talking about maybe we're going to trade Myles Garrett. So now it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I feel about like the roster construction and all the ifs and nuts and what if
the ifs and nuts.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean?
I was thinking about.
He was saying ifs and buts, but he went the other way.
Yeah.
And
cool.
So I just. I don't know. I guess that's how I'll leave it. Ifs and nuts.
Yeah, it's ifs and nuts. Yeah, I get it, bro.
Ifs and nuts, the Andrew Berry approach to building a roster.
Yeah.
Yes. We could write a book. So I hope everybody liked my visual of me plugging the holes.
It was good.
It was good.
It made me chuckle a lot, bro. Yeah.
It really drove home the point.
Yeah.
Is that not what it's like, though?
No, you're 100% right, bro. It actually is way more depressing than that. At least that person had some optimism about at least plugging holes. I just feel like we're drowning.
Listen, and I just came up with that. That just came into my head. I told you guys I was going to hit my stride by the end of this episode.
Yeah, here we are,
bro. We started rocking the
hour
intro.
and 5 minutes in, and you're just hitting your stride.
Yep, let's go another hour. I'm ready to go. I'm finally back.
My stride's over, bro. I'm done.
All right, we'll wrap it up. We appreciate everybody who left us voicemails. Again, we love getting your voicemails on the show, especially in the off season. It really helps kind of like drive the episodes, gives us good content to talk about for you guys. That's thedogspodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. Again, if you want to play fantasy football with us and you want to talk draft, free agents, all this stuff 24/7 with Browns fans, join thedogs.com or just scan the QR code on your screen. We appreciate you being here late with us on a Wednesday night, late with us on a Wednesday night talking Browns football, and we'll see you guys sometime later this week or early next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't need a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree. You just need your certification to qualify for these jobs. So what are you waiting for? With certification this simple, there's no excuse not to pursue your passion and become a certified personal trainer today. Get $100 off your certification at joinissa.com/dogs. You've wanted to make a change long enough. Now it's time to do something about it. That's joinissa.com/dogs for $100 off your personal trainer certification.
This time of year, the school calendar really starts to fill up. Spring activities, testing season, and that final push toward the end of the year. It's a great moment for kids to stay focused and build confidence in what they're learning. That's where IXL comes in. IXL is an award-winning online learning platform that helps kids truly understand their schoolwork, from math and reading to writing and science. It's designed for pre-K through 12th grade, with personalized interactive content that adapts to each child's level and pace. IXL makes it easy to stay on track with instant feedback and clear explanations, skills organized by grade level, and simple progress tracking. It fits into even the busiest spring schedules. It's also trusted nationwide. In fact, IXL is used in 96 of the top 100 school districts in the U.S. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. Listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price.